All right, Red, show looking for other kids stuff. We got lacrosse to talk about.
What do you mean?
Start of the playoffs.
Hey, how's everyone doing today? Ran into my friend Chris. So this is my daily routine. Listen to You're the Best Around, get a workout in, do my real job, and then talk lacrosse. So high school playoffs. Tonight, Episcopal plays. Bowles plays McClay. Yep. Got Creekside versus Ponte Vedra on Friday.
Yeah.
And then Saturday, Fletcher versus Nice, the rubber match, game 3. And St. Augustine heads out to the Panhandle to play Gulf Breeze.
Yeah.
So
a lot of lacrosse going on.
And then Saturday also we've got Flagler hosts Montevallo in Peach Belt play.
Big game.
And then Jacksonville faces Bellarmine.
Always Bellarmine.
We'll figure it out before the game. So let's talk high school. I sent you my predictions for all the high school games and both college games. So I'm on the record. There was a time when I used to publish it before the games, but I don't want some of the kids look at it, and I don't want them to, be impacted by it and have it in their heads. And then I'm willing to catch the grief if I get it wrong, and I'm willing to take the glory if I get it right. So we'll talk about it on the radio Sunday.
On Sunday morning.
You're going to be there Sunday morning?
Absolutely.
Are you going to be there Sunday morning?
They will be there Sunday morning.
Okay, so Episcopal, this is a big game for them. They're playing Menendez.
Mm-hmm.
Menendez is a good team. It's going to be a close game. Coach Carter over there feels like his team's healthy and ready to go. So may try to take a ride over there tonight and check out some of that game. Then just a short trip over to Bowles tonight. McClay's got their hands full. When you look at the Bowles team, Gavin Borey hasn't been around very much this season. He's back.
He's healthy.
And he's huge. The High Point commit. That team is just loaded. Dalen John Hill, the Hogans, the face-off with Greer Borey, and you can just go on and on.
It's going to be tough for McClay to stop that off.
So maybe we'll head over to Episcopal, then head over to Bowles, or vice versa.
We'll figure it out.
But Friday night, Creekside's back at Ponte Vedra once again. Another situation where Creekside's got their hands full.
Yeah, and it's not easy to beat a team 3 times in a season, so Ponte Vedra cannot overlook this game.
Looking forward to getting out there for that game. We mentioned Cannon Houseman's back, and he's been kind of the initiator for Ponte Vedra. He was out for a while. Obviously, Jack P. and the depth and the defense. So once again, Creekside's going to try to slow this game down, make it a close game, and you have to have the ball to be able to stall. Yeah. And the face-off game for Ponte Vedra has been key all season.
Yeah, Ladd Harper's been doing a really good job at face-off. So
what's the other guy's name? The other face-off guy for PV?
Redley Baggs.
Redley Baggs. Sorry, I ask you that all the time. He does a nice job filling in too.
He does a really good job.
A little bit of a 1-2 punch. So we'll check that game out on Friday. Saturday, the rubber match between Fletcher and Nice. I've seen both games so far this season. The first game we called on the radio where Fletcher won that game. Mm-hmm. And then back at Ponte Vedra, Fletcher controlled that game for a good part of it, but Nice was able to battle back. And that fourth quarter was probably the best I've seen Nice play. And if they can do that for 4 quarters, they're going to be able to control this game. But boy, Fletcher is so disciplined, and they spin that ball around, and they've got a lot of scoring opportunities and scoring talent and good defense and goalie. It's key.
I think it's definitely going to be a game to watch. So if you don't have anything doing Saturday night, you should definitely try and get out to that game.
Yeah, that's at 7 p.m. at Nice.
Yes.
And then don't know much about Gulf Breeze. The record is decent. It's a long trip for Nice. For St. Augustine to go over there. So that one will be interesting to see how it turns out. The thing about the Peach Belt and Flagler, Montevallo is a very good team. Flagler is the number 4 seed, so there's a very good chance that these 2 teams play again next week in the Peach Belt tournament. But it's a home game for Flagler. They play great at home. They got kind of beat up at the beginning of the Peach Belt season, so I think they want to feel good going into the playoffs. So they've got their work cut out for them at home.
Absolutely, but like you said, Dunk always gets them going at home, and it is the final home game of the season for them for the regular season. going into the playoffs, so I expect some fireworks.
And it's always a great atmosphere and a great crowd. I think that game's at noon down in St. Augustine, so if you're down that way, check it out. And then Bellarmine or Bellarmine?
Bellarmine. Always Bellarmine.
We'll ask Dylan Ward how you're supposed to say it. He's a little sensitive. At JU on Saturday at noon, I'm on the call on ESPN Plus with a color commentator to be determined still. It's going to be a good game. That offense for Bellarmine, O'Rourke, Della Rocca, Ali, Playstead, those four guys, that's huge. And Ali's come out of nowhere. I'll make sure I pronounce the name right before the broadcast. But I think he's at 29 goals or maybe even 30. He's got a lot of goals. And then everyone who's watched JU knows about Playstead and O'Rourke. And then you've got Christian Della Rocca going up against his brother. So that'll be an interesting storyline. In terms of the playoffs, I was told by somebody at the A-Sun that the tiebreaker was the RPI. I've also been told by somebody else who heard from the A-Sun that it's goal differential. I like following that stuff. The team wants nothing to do with it. The chips will fall where they may. The bottom line is beat Bellarmine. And then we'll talk about how it all sorts out on the radio show Sunday. Bellarmine's got something to play for as well. They're in the playoffs, but seeding is still in play down at the bottom. Six teams make the playoffs. The first two teams get the bye. Jacksonville looks pretty good. If it comes down to RPI, it looks like a good possibility of the number 3 seed in a weekday game if it's goal differential. So regardless of how that shakes out, I think it's going to be a good game. Bellarmine's been missing their goalie. He got hurt and he did not play against Detroit Mercy. I watched the first quarter of that game and I knew the score, and I'm watching the game and it's Bellarmine's killing them. It's 6-2 at the end of the first quarter and it wasn't that close. I'm like, how does this thing get to, I think, 18-10 Detroit?
Yeah.
The goalies for Bellarmine weren't making saves after the first quarter. Well, they didn't make a lot of saves at all. So we'll see how the goalie thing shakes out. But Jacksonville's got to win faceoffs, and a track meet's fine.
Yep.
Bellarmine's going to get their goals. I think the JU defense, if they can hold these guys under 10, that'll be a huge victory because this offense is powerful, as good as it gets in the A-Sun when you talk about those four main guys. But Jacksonville should be able to dominate between the midfield lines. And so I'm really looking forward to this game. I'm sad it's the last home game, especially for these seniors who've provided so much joy and entertainment to us. I do want to talk a minute about the playoffs. The A-Sun champion of the playoffs goes to the NCAA tournament, something Jacksonville's never done. So looking ahead a little bit, there's a play-in game. So to make the NCAA tournament, the two lowest rated teams have to do a play-in game. Some of the bracketology going on right now has the A-Sun and the MAC as the two teams. They have Utah or Air Force against the MAC champion. They didn't put Jacksonville in the mix, so it'll be fun to surprise them. But I don't know where that game's played. I do know that it's not determined by RPI. It's the committee. So the committee will determine which conferences have the play-in game, whether it's the MAC, the A-Sun. But right now, if it were RPI only, there's a good chance that the A-Sun champion will not be the lowest RPI. It would be the America East and the MAC. So it's just nothing for the team or the players, but as just a fan, I love trying to follow that stuff out.
There's a lot of information that's going on. There's a lot of potentials, a lot of stuff going on.
And the other thing is, like, I don't know where that play-in game takes place, whether it's a neutral site, whether it's at one of the play-in game. But the bottom line, if you're a Jacksonville fan,
just win.
Just win. Get out to Air Force and win again. They've won their last 3 games in Colorado, so I will say that. They beat Air Force in Denver 2 years ago, back-to-back, and then they obviously beat Air Force last week. So I know that's a lot of information. The national scene and the conference battles are heating up, so games, a lot of games Friday, Saturday, and a lot to talk about Sunday between the high school, the national scene, the Lax904 alumni, my picks.
Yep.
So make sure to tune in Sunday. We may get another newsletter out before the Bellarmine, the team from Louisville, and we'll check it out. So hope you enjoy this newsletter. Scroll down a little bit. Listen to last week's radio show. Love the conversation with Coach Galloway, Matt Rambo, and Coach West. And Coach Kerwick, he was kind of a show killer, but we'll let him pass. And then also, if you scroll down below, there's condensed highlights of the Air Force game. And when I did last newsletter, and I featured Anthony Vito Caputo as score the goal, drop to Cannoli, that was before the game. I wasn't anticipating him
Scoring the
goal, dropping the gloves, the stick, the Cannoli. And great celebration, and it just kind of came to me. So we'll see what comes to me before the the Louisville game this weekend. So enjoy the newsletter. Chris, let's get back to the workout. Oh, Pammy.